Have you ever come to the end of a sales conversation with an ideal client thinking, this is going so well, we're clearly a perfect fit, I just know they're going to say yes. And then it ends with the dreaded, thanks, I need to think about it, I'll get back to you. Well, if that's you, then this video's for you, because the reason your client didn't say yes please might not be what you think. It might simply be because you forgot to talk about the slugs. And yes, I really do mean slugs. You'll need to stick with me on this one and I'll tell you more. I'm Watkin and I teach heart-centered business owners how to get more clients saying yes please in a way that's authentic and comfortable and always aligned with your values. Now, this simple and slimy analogy that I'm about to share with you became an instant favourite when I shared it with my clients, because once you hear it, you won't unhear it again, and it's going to be an important reminder for you. So let's begin. Let's talk about the slugs. So where this came from is a client of mine. She was feeling frustrated. She'd implemented everything from my Get More Clients Saying Yes course. Her sales conversations were more structured, she was more confident, but she was still hearing no from clients that she knew she could help. So I got curious, and what I realized was that in her eagerness to demonstrate the value of her offer, she was talking about way too much. She was trying to show all the ways that she could help, but what she wasn't doing was she wasn't zeroing in on the one thing that her client really cared about and communicating that she could help with that. In other words, she wasn't talking about the slugs. So to illustrate this, I'm going to share my analogy. Imagine that I have got a problem with slugs. When I wake up in the morning, I can see their silvery trails all over the paving stones. They're even on my windows. They're damaging my plants. They even make their way into the house. Now imagine I've also got a daughter, and imagine that daughter is terrified of slugs and she freaks out every time they get in the house, and it takes me ages to calm her down. Then one day I come down to get my coffee in the morning and I step on one with bare feet, and it's enough is enough. I need to do something about it. So I decide to get a slug guy round to see if he can help me get rid of them. When he gets here, I tell him all about how much the slugs are bothering me, all the things I've mentioned already, and he tells me that yes, he can help me get rid of the slugs. That is not a problem. But he's also a gardener, and he then stands and surveys the garden, and he points out the weeds that are starting to come up through the paving stones and tells me that he can get rid of those too. He looks at my lawn and says it's a bit patchy, and last week he helped a lady with a similar lawn and now she's got a healthy glossy lawn, and while he's doing that he'll trim the plants and the edges and do the weeding. Sounds good, doesn't it? Well, actually no. Those other things would be nice to have, but they are not the thing that's troubling me the most right now. It's the slugs that are troubling me the most right now, and he's just sort of glossed over them. In fact, I'm not even sure he really heard me when I told him how much of a problem they are. And there's a little voice in my head wondering if he really does know how to get rid of them. After all, he seems to be much more interested in the garden. So what am I likely to say to him when he asks if I want to go ahead? That's right, I'm going to say, thank you, that's really helpful. I'm going to think about it and I'll give you a call. Now, I bet that sounds familiar to some of you. And to continue the analogy, imagine that the same afternoon, another guy comes around. Let's call him slug guy number 2. Now, this guy takes a completely different approach. He listens to all my complaints about the slugs and he empathizes with my problem. He tells me that his wife and daughter also used to freak out about slugs at his house, so he tried everything he could think of until he found a way to eradicate them completely, and that's what he's going to do for me. He's going to use a special organic product to treat the pavings. He's going to put a rubber seal around the door so they can't come in, and he's going to spray all the plants with a slug repellent. And after he's done all that, he's going to come back 3 days later just to make sure it's worked. In other words, what he's saying is slugs, slugs, slugs. And this is music to my ears. So what am I going to say when he asks me if I want to go ahead? Even if he charges double what the other guy asked for? That's right. I'm going to say, yes, please. When can you start? Now, as it happens, this guy is also a gardener, just like the first one. So once he's fixed my immediate slug problem, the one that's at the forefront of my mind, the one that's keeping me awake at night, he might also point out the weeds and the lawn and offer to help with those too. And of course, because by then he will have fixed the slug problem and I now know him and trust him, of course I'm going to say yes please to that too. I might even arrange for him to come back once a fortnight to keep on top of the garden and the slugs. And I'm going to recommend him to all my friends who also have problems with slugs. So a happy ending all round, my problem is solved and the slug guy has plenty of business. So the key takeaway from this story today, remember to talk about the slugs. This is exactly what you need to be doing in your own sales conversations. Don't try and talk about all the different ways you can help. Don't try and wow your client with every tool in your toolkit. And don't try to impress them by talking about how you helped somebody else solve a problem if that problem was different to your client's immediate problem. Instead, find out what's bothering them most right now. What's keeping them awake at night, what's worrying them, what feels urgent, and speak directly to that. That's how you build trust. That's how you show that you really understand. And this is how you get more clients saying yes, please. And of course, once the trust is built, they will be open to hear all the other ways in which you can help them. So if this resonated with you and you're thinking, I really need to structure my sales conversations better, then you will love my free video training, The 7 Steps to Yes. It's a structure for an authentic, heart-centered, non-pushy sales conversation, and it's only 21 minutes to watch. You can sign up for that at katherinewatkin.com/7 steps. I'll also pop a link below the video. And if you enjoyed this video, do give it a like or even a comment. It really helps more heart-centered business owners discover this way of selling. And I'll see you next time.